In a mother's love, you will find everything. Everything's alright. To a mother's love, you are bound. You can rest on sacred ground. You are free to dream because she sees what you can be. Grand Rising. This video is dedicated to Uncle Suge. My heart is saddened by the vicious attacks that happened to you, that are happening to you. But certainly on yesterday, the 19th of June, the day that we say we were emancipated. How sad. Uncle Suge, I just want you to know that there are those of us who will not, who cannot sit idly by and allow what is happening to you to continue to happen. I thank you for being willing to assist me, and I thank you for staying out of it as I asked. I'm a mother, and I know that you're dealing with your mother's illness, and I know you love your mother. I know this was the very first Father's Day without your rock. So much so that I chose the same thumbnail and I hadn't even seen yours. Part of it was because my daddy was my rock. And the other had to be the ancestors telling me it's time to speak out. Everyone saw what went on with me, and everyone stayed silent, except for Asatar. Ryan. Maria was my comfort. So Alicia came right on in and offered comfort, an ear. I greatly appreciate that. And I know you have Sister T. I've seen her in action. And Sister T, I want to thank you. And the Sister T sector, I want to thank you. But Uncle Suge, it's time for me to speak to the Kwames, the Amondos, the Kevos, and anyone else that is spreading these horrible, deplorable lies about you being a pedophile. They really don't understand what they're doing. And some of these people have children. They really don't know the harm they're speaking on their children, their sons, their daughters. Kwame, you could really stop this. You know, y'all always have had a way of calling us names. And I have to say calling us because now I've been labeled a child predator. You all have been calling Uncle Suge that for a while. It really hurts my heart to see women support this type of behavior, especially women that are mothers. You see, it's one thing to do YouTube, to do content. It's another thing to try to destroy and annihilate another human being for your own selfish reasons. Reasons I can't explain. When I came to YouTube, it was because you, Kwame Brown, inspired me to want to get out here and just talk about life in general. As a 63-year-old woman, when I came, I wanted to share my life experiences and the journey that I embarked upon to find out who we were before we were slaves. You know, I hear you all say Geechee and all of that, and I understand the Gully Geechee background. We're all the same people. And I understand that you came here roasting your peers. And because they were your peers, it was so funny because you knew them. You knew them. I don't know what relationships you guys had, but I do know that you knew them. And they knew you in some way or another. You drew us all in. Many a mothers. I don't know if it's because a lot of the women wanted to be with you. A lot of the women wanted to mother you because of your story. But you've done some real dastardly things just in the last 2 months. On Mother's Day, you introduced us to your cousin. You know, the one that you talk about all the time that can take apart any woman or man verbally, that goes by the name, I believe it's Super Bitch. I don't really know. But you know that cousin. And then you introduced us to your brother. You know, the one that was arrested for killing CJ, and Tiffany confessed to the police, his wife. And the DA at the time was the same one who didn't want to do Ahmaud Arbery's case. And they had to call in a special prosecutor. And then they brought in a new prosecutor because that prosecutor was then prosecuted. You remember that? And Miss Ann Proctor has suffered the loss of her son because the law of privileges, the law of privileges, you know, the one where our conversations are privileged if we speak to our doctor or if we speak to our minister, we speak to our lawyers. And yes, if we're bound by marriage, husband and wife, we cannot be forced to testify against each other. So the law of privilege has given them a privilege. You say you about the people. Kwame, you introduced us to all of this. And you've called me a liar, and all of your people have attacked me because I felt that you and Skinny were both wrong. And then he turned around and did to me worse than what I felt you did to him. But it's okay because the power of the matriarch is the power that gives life. And it is unfortunate for you that your mother is no longer with you, that you can resolve the issues that you seem to have with her, because you treat women, and especially Asiatic women, like nothing. And it saddens me, because I really don't believe you're a bad person. I believe you're a hurting person. And hurting people hurt people. And you're hurting a whole community on YouTube. Many that believed in you, that gave to you, that followed you. I thought you were an excellent listener, but I see you're not. I don't know, and you don't hear me speak on your sexual proclivities. You don't hear me speaking on any of that. You don't hear me speaking on what looks to be your drug addiction, your alcoholism. But see, one thing I know about alcoholism and drug addiction, Bill W. wrote in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, no one can pronounce you an alcoholic. You have to do that yourself. He said there's an imaginary line that one crosses, and only you know when you've crossed that line. You have to know your own limitations. So a lot of things that you've said about me have been untrue. And the things I've thought about you could be untrue. But your behavior, you know that you said you looked at? Behavior. You know all those great talking points that you use? The go along, get along gang? You know, that's just the herd mentality of the people. And it goes with the animal husbandry training that we've been given our entire lives. You know that question you always used to ask, what is the end game? What are you trying to do to a people that are already hurting and looking for leadership outside of themselves? Because everybody flocked to you because you appeared to be going somewhere, leading many people with addictions, with some emotional traumas, so much so they're unemployable. A lot of people believed in you. A lot of people. Even though you don't believe in yourself. And I know that from your behavior. You speak well when need be. You go real down low when need be. We all have the ability to do that. But this really is not the platform for us to do the things that we're doing to each other. And only you can stop it. Something about Queen Regina I really like. And then there are some things that I don't. She make a lot of good points. I don't like what's happening to her in your chat. I don't have the issues with her as other people. I'm not involved in that, and they can continue to do what they need to do until they resolve it. I've done nothing to you or any of these people. And yes, people have unsubscribed because I had the audacity to voice an opinion about Kwame Brown, the #1 draft pick, the has-been that never was. But you actually had an opportunity to be all that you can be. And maybe that's what you did, given the circumstances. You see, we all have a background and we all have a life, and it's not always pretty. I believe all of us are sick. Some of us are just sicker than others. I said to you once before, I see you as a little 9-year-old trying to navigate as a 41-year-old. see you hurting, and I see you destroying a lot of people. I remember when you were very proud of Uncle Suge's work. I remember your exact words. Boy, I don't ever want to be on the other side of Uncle Suge, because he ain't going to do nothing to you. He going to let you use your words. Your words. Remember when you said that about Uncle Suge? Do you remember when Uncle Suge was trying to tell you, Kwame, it's not beneficial to beef with YouTubers? Because once you start, you're not going to be able to stop. Perhaps you don't remember any of that. And then you have Armando Black. Armando, who's coming to save you for himself. He would love to be your wingman, but you don't give him much attention. So he has to go and tell stuff to other content creators. He doesn't have the courage to face Uncle Suge himself. He used all of that feminine bravado. It's not masculinity at all. And I'm not talking about a preference. No, I'm talking strictly about behavior. He's lied on me so many times, it's not even funny. This is America, where you're allowed to lie on people. You're allowed to do whatever you want to do until you're stopped. Armando told a story, and he had to start talking about when Uncle Suge was with his baby's mama, his oldest child, and he was this age and she was that age. Well, guess what? Me and Old Faithful, my Armenian nephew, you know, the one that you had his picture up on your show and played my video, and you said you was going to cash out me. You never did. Just like the interview, you never granted. Everybody got mad at me because I said something about it. Isn't that something? I wasn't angry then. I'm not angry now. And if you recall, I think I cashed up you 3 times. No, I didn't. I super chatted you 3 times to let you know that you really had permission to use my video, because it was about a real serious campaign for me. And it still is a campaign, contrary to Armando's belief in Amelia News Report, who supports you guys financially in this craziness. Yeah, I gave you permission. But there are 2 things that you did that you didn't do for me that you said you were going to do. And I've done nothing but respect you. I don't like the fact that JJ London was on YouTube saying that she put Visine in men's drinks. Armando seems to think that his belief overrides the facts. They don't. Beliefs are just that, beliefs. Kwame, I've seen you go from being on camera to hiding behind an avatar. And yeah, I'm behind an avatar right now. I'm choosing to be, just like you do. I think it'll have more effect. That's what I think. Now, maybe it does not. I don't know. But I think it have more effect. I just noticed my beautiful music is not on. My beautiful music is not on. and I do want it on. I dedicated this video to Uncle Suge because he needs to know that there are some of us out here that really, really, really have his back. You all can have your differences. I'm not in your beef, whatever that is, because I don't understand the beef. I don't know why, and I don't need to know. I can just go by what I saw. And I saw Uncle Suge making edits that supported your stance in the Tommy Sotomayor and your beef. And then for some reason, perhaps the open panels when people could come up and speak freely about how they felt, and Uncle Suge didn't contribute to those conversations much. He just allowed us a place to come and talk about any subject. And of course, you know that you were the number one topic because, after all, you're Kwame Brown, the ex-NBA player, the number one draft pick, who uses his celebrity at will. One moment, you say we treat you like celebrity. The next moment, you're no celebrity. The next moment, because you're a celebrity, people think they can do this, that, the other to you. You've heard a lot of people. A lot of people are confused and they listen to what you say and don't hear a word. I've never seen this type of behavior that you, Skinny, and Amundo display. Almost one and the same. Almost. You have them beat by $66 million. And perhaps y'all in the same shape today, but you're the only one that's not living off of a woman that is well educated and in the medical profession. We know this because they tell it all. You know, just like I talked about my molestation and you mentioned your molestation, that people say, some, only really one, my cousins seem to think that's not what you meant, but others heard it and they gleaned the same thing that I got from it. When you stated about the village, and you were right about the village, we must be careful who we let take care of our children. I don't laugh and make fun of you about not being present in your children's life. I don't do that. The only thing I've ever spoken about you is what I truly believe about you. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. It's just my opinion. But see, I'm much of the opinion that opinions can be wrong. And just because it's mine doesn't give me permission to say it's true. It just gives me permission to say what I believe. It is written, when I was a child, I spake as a child. And as I became a man, I put away childish things. So in that, we have faith, we have belief, and we must move to fruition. And so you go with your belief, with your faith and fruition, making things happen, coming into the knowledge of the truth. Once we hit this button, we all become public figures. celebrity in our own right. And as I told you on Moxie Approved, I'm the star on my stage. So I could never envy your star. My mother taught me, and all 7 of my siblings, envy no one for what they have, because you might not be willing to pay the price to get it. And I've lived with that. It is written across my heart, the teachings of my mother. You came to us with mama's cooking. That was another reason I liked you. You talked about being your mama's son. I liked that too. But your behavior is not one that is of love and honor of his mother. That's not your behavior. And you're not the only one that can look at behavior and tell when someone is misbehaving. And you've been misbehaving for a while. It saddens me. We have an opportunity to use this platform to perhaps become millionaires, just like you were. People with no formal education, people who can barely speak English, and they're Americans. People who have a story to tell, because we all have one, and it may could help somebody else. But the games you guys are playing now are very dangerous. You're labeling people pedophiles. Now, all of this really went into high gear just the other day. And I say the other day, it was a few weeks ago, perhaps a month, when we heard the disturbing audio of you and the young lady, and you were forcing her to drink. And she was talking to you as if she was subservient to you. And your tone was not that of the kind gentleman that you portray yourself to be. Rather disturbing. And then ears came out with some allegations about you and women. And you didn't resolve that issue. You didn't denounce the issue in a way that's believable. You just kind of shifted it and then started bringing people up that knew Ear's background. And then we start hearing about his. And I know none of you, but I've watched this play out. And then when it was said about your cousin, I believe 27, 28, something to that nature, molesting a 15-year-old. And the only explanation that was given is they're still together now. And it was a 15-year-old boy. So it was a man with a boy. Now, there is a rule. There is a rule. It's, it's not law. It's a rule. It's for society's sake. On the ages when you're dealing with relationships. The general rule is you take however old you are as an adult and you divide it in half, and then you add 7 to that number. And that will give you the safe haven. It's really sad that you guys started talking about people when they were children and talking about children as if they're doing things to that child. Now, children can molest. Trust me, they can. But 9 times out of 10, all throughout America and perhaps abroad, there are people that play mommy and daddy, doctor and nurse, and they engage in sexual behavior, not always penetration. Sometimes just they call it goosing, some of the children do, grinding. Sometimes they're just kissing, but they're playing house nonetheless. And I used to always wonder, how did the kids know what to do? And 9 times out of 10, someone in that group has been touched, and they introduce it to the other children. And no one thinks that it's good for a 13-year-old to be with a 10-year-old, but I don't think that they were being together as man and wife or as boyfriend and girlfriend. I think they probably were together as children doing something perhaps they shouldn't have been doing. But a man, 27, whatever the age, with a 15-year-old boy, he knew exactly what he was doing. And instead of you all dealing with that issue and putting it to bed, you started calling Uncle Suge every kind of pedophile there could be. You talked about him on IG, who he's following. Who knows who's following who? You can put an avatar up today, and you can change a picture today in an instant. That can happen. But this pedophilia talk that you all are doing, and I don't believe that I don't know if you're paying Armando. Perhaps you're doing him like you did Gravity Takeout when you paid him to dox Uncle Suge's parents. Perhaps those super chats are for that reason. But I didn't believe that you were doing that. I just know who he is and his behavior and how he betrayed trust and how he lies and how he and Amalia and others dig in people's backgrounds and plaster it all over YouTube as if nothing can be done to you. You know, they think my lawsuit is fake. I guarantee you it's not. If you look at my videos, you would know the status of where it is. But it's by no wise fake. I've given the case number out several times for people to go to Pacer system and look it up, read the documents. The judge is making the decisions, not me. And YouTube cannot be held liable for the things that are said on their platforms. That's according to USC 47-230. But the individual can when you're liable, slanderous, and defamatory. And if you believe something to be true, you got to have a basis of that belief. It has to be founded in something, not hearsay, not because I just don't like you. And Kwame, your behavior is one that's really sad because you are ex-number-1 draft pick NBA basketball player. We look at you differently. We do. Society dictates that. And the herd mentality brings in the rest. Just like the people in your chat attack anyone that say anything against you. You don't make them do it, but you influence them. You tell them who to go after. Skinny did the same thing. So does Amando. You guys do that well. You all are supposed to be men. Of course, I understand that you guys are just males who are growing and have no care and decency for humanity. You pretend you all love your children, but you're mistreating everybody else's children. It's sad. It's really sad. And people unsubscribe from me every day. So if you're people that are still subscribed to me, feel the need to unsubscribe, please do. I don't have a problem with that. I came on here to share my life in 63 years of experience. I'm 64 now. And if I live to see October 26th, I'll be 65. You brought your brother up who's been talking. And I understand the pain he feels when Suge or anyone speaks on his mother. But he must understand that you, his brother, started the war. You started this. And I'm calling it a war because you all are on opposite sides. You didn't have to be that way. You could have gone your way. He could have gone his. You chose to pay this young man to dox his parents. You also know that he lost his father. But I understand you lost your father and your mother as well. So did I. Yeah, my mom's been gone 30 years. My dad's been gone since 2008. And for the life of me, I can never say how many years that has been like I can my mom's. I can never say that. It's 15 years. 15 years. Suge just lost his father in February. Mother's Day, you hit us with super. Father's Day, you hit us with Suge's a pedophile again. And went in deep. And your brother joined in. Sad. And again, brother, I can understand your pain hearing about your mother. I can understand that. Because it pained me when I heard this man talk about my mother's rotten vagina. And she's been dead 30 years, and I've only known him one. And this man was not your brother. It was Skinny. The man who's faking plays and getting caught. Who actually got choked out and thought it was, we wasn't supposed to believe that. We were not supposed to believe that. We're supposed to believe maybe our eyes are lying to us since our mind played tricks on us. Well, I don't know. Yeah, but he said some dastardly stuff about me and still does. And Kwame, thank you. You've never ever went that low with me. But son, what you're doing with Suge, you should call it off. You should call all of your minions down. If you don't want to answer or discuss your cousin being 27 and being with a 15-year-old, you all are throwing buzzwords around, and it looks like the buzzword of today is grooming. So, normally that means more than one. So I don't know if your cousin has done this to a lot of younger boys. Perhaps so. I don't know. But you all are throwing these words around. Kwame, your behavior has been in the news. The article where you were accused of assault of a woman. You were accused of a sexual assault of a woman. You were accused, you were a public figure. So some of the stuff we got to hear, some of the stuff we didn't. To be honest with you, Kwame, none of that kind of stuff interests me. I don't think it's right for anybody to be doing this kind of stuff. But you people play very unfair. And I know they say all is fair in love and war. But this was supposed to be a place where you were pulling people together because you were doing so much for single mothers. You had so much property and you had homes for them. You were going to clear off the land and we're going to have chicken coops for the children to come and gather the eggs. You were going to be the great Asiatic hope, or should I say Geechee hope. You were the one that we all were sending money to. We were sending items to. Because you were the one who was going to promote entrepreneurs of Asiatic descent. Most love to be called black, which is civilly dead in the eyes of the law. And that all has to do with inheritance. Because trust me, you're well and alive when they want to send you to the penitentiary. They're paid a hefty fee monthly. I heard you question Gil about his ability to look through the camera and be able to pronounce you alcoholic. You want to know if he had the medical skills to do that and the license to do that. Well, as I told you before, Bill W. says no one can do that. Only you can do that. People can call you out your name. They're being disrespectful. But they're calling you based on your behavior. And that is respect. You came on here one way, but it's the other way. And it saddens me. But it is what it is. And it's nothing I can do about it. I can ask you to stop as a mother and as a woman. I can ask you to fix this. I can ask you to get help. Kwame, is help available? You don't have to hurt any longer. You can get some help. And there are some real people out here. I'm one of them that care about you as a human being. I don't know what age you were when you lost your mother. But a lot of you out here lost your moms at a young age. And I don't know what type of life y'all had before your moms passed on. But I know your behavior shows that it was horrible. And you guys are just little boys that are hurting. And anybody can laugh and mock at this video. You all have that right. But I'm speaking from the heart of a mother who loves her son. And thanks to therapy and counseling, we got help because I was a codependent person. I didn't have a drug or alcohol problem. I loved drug addicts and alcoholics, and I thought I could save them. So we went to counseling. We went to therapy. I was molested as a kid, and it didn't come to me until I was 19. married, laying across my bed, looking at TV with my husband. And I had an out of body experience. And it was real. I shared that, not just for me, but for other women, men, because it happens to us all. Not every individual, but to men and women when they're little boys and little girls. It happens throughout the world. I live a very transparent life. Now, I don't have no high credit score, but I have plenty of credit. I pay my bills. I worked real hard for over 40 years. I've been retired for 12. I was born with a third-degree heart block, and that's funny to a lot of people. And that's okay, because I'm here. I gave birth to one son, and I found out 1 month later that I could have died in childbirth because of my third-degree heart block. I had a pacemaker for over 40 years. Over 40 years. And because of that, I now live in congestive heart failure. I lived an abundant life. I've been in some of those rooms that you've been in. Sit at the table with some real big spenders. We were not in Vegas, although I've been there too. Yeah, I've been in the homes of congressmen. Sit at the table with the county sheriff, with the district clerk, state representatives. I advocate for a lot of people. So the work that I do, only my people can testify to it. And I'm advocating right now for Suge. I'm advocating, Kwame, for you. I'm asking you to stop this. You know these people mean you no good. But I understand that the money was good. And you can still get good money. But you need to go back. And you don't have to be the same person, because if you go back to the same person, then you're going to have the same, end. I say, but look inside of you and go back to the good you that you know you are. Get some help, and you don't have to tell nobody. All the stuff that you all are allowing to be out on this YouTube is none of our business. And you're corrupting people's minds. Some of them can't take this. Some of them were not built for this. I don't care if you're with JJ or not. That's y'all business. But you know, just like I know, when we came on YouTube, then people were open to scrutiny. You've been scrutinized since you were 19. A lot of the stories you've told have been debunked. But you've told some good stories too, Kwame. You've experienced being poor, being rich, and now back poor and trying to come back. I haven't seen your bank account. I don't know it. I'm looking at behavior, how you living. what you're sharing, what you're not denying. I'm looking and listening to you. I'm not judging you because I don't have anywhere for you to go. But I am right now talking about you to you. I really, really, really was hurt as well when you and Sister T broke up. I used to think that she was one of those people like I thought the other women, and I've shared this with the women on my show. I've shared this with a couple of them individually. I thought that they were actually just trying to leech off of you. But they've proven themselves to be women of distinction, even though some vile things may come from their mouths. All of them make some good points. All of them are the elders. All of them were blatantly attacked. You might not like what I say, but I like you. There's certain things I just won't do and say on this YouTube. I live in the honor of me and my mom and my dad and my son and my siblings, my nieces and my nephews. They look up to me. You see, these people on YouTube don't know me, and so they talk about me. They called me Missy. Why? Why? Because Skinny decided? Because Skinny took my money in the name that he liked me and then later said he didn't because I wouldn't be his manager? Because he did this thing he and Armando did to Sister T with the fake article and putting the numbers on one of my videos? May it never be. And I even apologize to you because I never liked what he said about your mom. And I even asked him to stop. But you said no one could come to your chat if they're going to go to his. And I met him through you. And I thought he was funny when he was fighting for you. When he started fighting against you, I thought he was funny. But when he started attacking your mom, I didn't like that at all. And I didn't always stay. In my heart of heart, I believe that you and Queen Regina are related, and perhaps you all are not. And I don't even know if the story he told about the young lady that your father killed, if that's really your mother. But I do know on the lady he called your grandmother, this is Skinny now, I looked at her obituary and her name was Bryant. And I'm not a firm or real believer of coincidence. And that's also Regina's last name. Perhaps y'all are not kin, but I believe you guys to be. And that's why you will never disrespect her and will never get rid of her. And that is good. Because there was a time me and my cousin actually stopped talking behind my belief and her belief. Although we talk now. That there was a time when we didn't. So, all I can say is, YouTube is changing. And either we're going to change with them and be a community, whether we collaborate together or not, that doesn't matter. Any of us. But we should be building. We're in disarray as a people. You know, a lot of people, even including myself, believe that you came with you didn't come with this agenda. Perhaps you were sent Perhaps it just happened by happenstance with you and Angela with uh, getting a movement for Donald Trump. I don't know. I know you don't, in my opinion, just from the way you talk, you're not a political person and you don't have an idea about politics. And if people would do their research, I try to get my people to research, which they won't do it. I try to get them to read. Donald Trump is not the real bad guy that people think he is. He's not. And they may need to just do some research. But, it's like you came to divide us all. And sometimes that's just our thinking. It has nothing to do with you. So I want you to understand that. We're all human. And there's nothing that overcomes us that's not common to man. We all have thoughts. And a lot of us voice them. And we may not have rights to do so. But we do it anyway. Because what? This is America. And we have the First Amendment. And we have the freedom of speech. As long as we're not slandering and defaming and being libelous about these conversations. But I'm going to ask you to stop and please leave Uncle Suge alone. It would be beautiful. It would be beautiful if you men, since that's what you call yourself, could speak with one another as men. And instead of you coming in the chat and making all the derogatory statements, you guys could talk without cussing each other out before you even start the conversation. Anytime you start off with the words that you guys say, it's never going to be a real conversation. Y'all don't give each other a chance. But Uncle Suge is doing some great things. And I believe that you're very envious and hurt. Not necessarily of him, but because of what you have failed to do for you and the opportunity that you could have had and you didn't get it because you're not willing to do what it takes. You're going to have to learn to adopt what I was taught. Kwame, you're just not willing to pay the price. And until you're willing, you got to let envy go. You and Gilbert don't hate each other. We all know that. Well, except for your chat. They seem to think y'all really don't like each other. But we know that's not true. Gilbert has reached out many times to you, extended you an olive branch. And you've accepted it. But you can't stay there because of the envy and the hurt and the pain and the anger you feel at yourself. I'm not a psychiatrist nor a psychiatrist. I am looking at behavior. I'm a mother. And we have to be a little bit of everything. So I'm not licensed and I'm not giving you any prescriptions, but I am suggesting that you do something different to yield a different result. And don't begrudge Suge because he decided to change his life. As I stated at the beginning of this video, we all have a past. We don't know how old Armando was when he got his girlfriend pregnant or the first girl he slept with. We don't know those kind of things. We don't need to know. At least I don't. I don't need to know about all of the baby mamas or all the babies that you have taken care of or not taken care of. I don't need to know any of that. But I'm asking you to end this for the sake of the community. You can do it, Kwame. You can do it. You have that power. You see, I call this the Kwame Brown sector because I came on because I was inspired by you. And I was visiting you, so that's where my videos went to your audience. And I thank you and all of the men that helped me get the people that I have. I thank my talent that I was able to keep the people that I was able to keep. There are people that leave every day. And it's really funny to me because this is a time when everybody else is growing and I am losing people every other day. One every other day. And that's okay. You know, I came here to help uplift fallen humanity. I wish all of the women that have so much visceral for one another could lay aside their differences for the sake of our people. We got to get team oriented, not gang related, not cult related, but team oriented, where everybody plays a role. Everybody contributes, not just their money, not just their time. We need to go back to encouraging one another to do something in your community, to do something for somebody. We need to do that. This stopped being fun a long time ago. It really did. And believe it or not, you're just like the coach on the team. I heard you talk about how could that be your team? How could you be captain of the team when this, that, and the other? Excuses are like weeds growing without cultivation. No more excuses. I don't know all these family members that's coming up. I think they need to keep it in the family and off YouTube. It's not a good look for you. And I know if you're like me, what people think of me is none of my business. But being human, we all want to be seen for who we are. And if this is who you are, then I'll accept it. I just like to believe that you're something different and that you're hurting and you're lashing out and you don't have to. No matter what mistakes you made in the past, that's the past. And the only way it could remain the past is if you do something different today. It's your choice. Nobody else's. And you have my home phone number and my email. And you're welcome to contact me anytime. I would like to see you live. Right now, you're just existing. And you're in survival mode. And that's not a good look. You have a lot to offer. You really do. And I don't know if you know. I know you talk a good game of being great, but I don't know if you know really how great you can be. But I'm here to tell you, son, you got it. You're abusing it right now, and you're misusing it. Take some time to yourself. Somebody you really trust. Get some help. Help is available. I don't know what type of help you need, but you know, you have an idea. You don't like the way you're living. You're not happy because you don't show those beautiful teeth anymore. You don't do it. And it's the reason that you don't do it. It really is. Only you know that reason. I can say that you're a no limit soldier because you've had to put up with a lot of scrutiny, and especially since you were 19. I think the roughest you probably ever received was these past 2 years of everybody turning against you. It seems. Everybody didn't turn against you. Some of us just turned away and stayed away. But I guarantee you, son, I do not want to see you fail again. Every day we wake up with brand new mercies if we wake up. And that's another opportunity to get it right. And maybe you can return to the honor of your mother and father. See, because one thing I realize, no matter what our parents do, good, bad, or indifferent, they're our parents and we love them anyway. And you have that right. So do I. Most of us do the best we can with what we know. And a lot of times it's said, when you know to do better, you do better. That's not always true. And sometimes we can try to do better and we don't get it right. So that's okay too. It's really okay. You fall off, just get back up and try it again. And know, there's some people out here that love you as a human. You may not like me or nothing I have to say. I can't do nothing about that. Because I love you anyway. Anyway. I see the beauty in you. I see it. Whether you ever see it and show it, I'll never know. Remember, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But I'd like for you to end this. You can really go viral again by taking responsibility for your actions. And I ask everybody that take the time to listen to this tape to take responsibility for your actions, because we all played a role in whatever is going on. Many of us were attacked, unmerited, and a lot of people attacked us, unmerited. But they say that's par for the course. I say we can be better than that. We are a resilient people. We are a beautiful people. We are brilliant people. We are disturbed people. We are hurting people. And we need unity in the community. We need to stop being what's expected of us. You know, you speak of the white zaddy. I don't know what that means. But my daddy taught us that your boss is always a whole lot more scared of his boss than you are of him. He also taught us that the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, but white folks run America. So what you do is you learn the rules of engagement. And then you engage. And be flexible and bend. Do not break. Because the rules will change once you learn them. I also know rarely do you catch a person complaining when it's in their favor. Rarely. Some would say, I have no dog in this fight. And I would say they're a lie. You are my sons. I am a mother. And although I didn't give birth to you guys, you are my sons. And as a mother, I have to show you motherly love. Whether you agree with it or not, I hope you listen to this, because this is real as it gets. I change it not. I am who I say I am. And I am a beautiful person to know, inside out. I am. But I want to leave you guys with this pedophilia thing so y'all can really understand what y'all saying when y'all say all of this stuff on YouTube about one another. It is real bad to label us these names. It's not safe. It's not. It's a lot goes with these name tags y'all giving us. And it's not right and it's not fair. No one has called you anything that you haven't been accused of being. Now, I don't know about the people that, don't like you or whatever. But I'm talking about, I know, and you know, because like you said, Suge whoops you with your own words. He doesn't have to add nothing to it. And yes, he has been fighting back. But you guys have been very low with him. Starting, Kwame, when you doxed his parents. That was so very unnecessary. And brother, talk to your brother. Don't join in the craziness. Don't do it. Y'all should be making ways for you to get a channel and for you to have something to say. We all have a story to tell, good, bad, or indifferent. And everybody trying to turn down everybody's felonies to see whose felony is the worst. Well, y'all better remember, the majority of our men are felons. The majority. That's sad to say. And if they they've been on some type of supervised authority in the community. I don't care to know about all of this stuff about y'all. I really don't. A lot of stuff I don't get to hear. I hear of it. And Kwame, you're free if you feel it necessary to critique this video. And I don't really care about what the people think. I care about you, son. And you owe it to yourself to stop the madness. On that note, I'm going to share this information. YouTube, this is fair use. And I am playing this for educational purposes. For the community here in YouTube, where these men are attacking women. And again, we got to stop this, y'all. And we can't sit idly by and keep allowing this to happen. And you guys call yourselves Christians and love the Lord and pray and do all of this good stuff, but participate in this kind of craziness. It's got to stop. I'm going to share this. Please listen, take notes. Fair use, YouTube.
Pedophilia. Pedophilia, also spelled pedophilia, also called pedophilic disorder or pedophilia disorder, in conventional usage, a psychosexual disorder, generally affecting adults, characterized by sexual interest in prepubescent children or attempts to engage in sexual acts with prepubescent children. The term was used with that meaning in the psychiatric diagnostic literature prior to the publication of the 5th edition of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 2013, DSM-5, which replaced pedophilia with pedophilic disorder. As in earlier editions, the DSM-5 classifies the disorder as one of several paraphilic disorders, involving atypical sexual interests, practices, or behaviors, paraphilias. Unlike the earlier editions, however, the DSM-5 explicitly distinguishes between paraphilias and paraphilic disorders, recognizing for the first time that individuals may exhibit or engage in a range of atypical sexual interests, desires, practices, or behaviors that do not, in themselves, constitute mental illnesses. Under this diagnostic scheme, a paraphilia is recognized as a paraphilic disorder only if one or more of the following criteria are met. 1. The interest or desire produces significant distress or social impairment in the affected individual, for reasons unrelated to society's disapproval, and 2. The practice or behavior inherently involves harm to others or is directed at unwilling persons or persons who are unable to give legal consent, e.g., because of their age. In the case of pedophilia, although the interest itself is no longer considered symptomatic of mental illness, unless it causes distress in the affected individual, any behavioral expression of the interest, e.g., any attempt at sexual contact with children, is sufficient to warrant a diagnosis of pedophilic disorder. The DSM-5 further stipulates that the interest or behavior in question must be present for at least 6 months for clinical diagnosis, and the affected individual must be at least 16 years of age and at least 5 years older than the child, or children, at the center of the individual's sexual fantasies. Pedophilia may be distinguished from hebephilia, sexual preference for individuals who typically are between ages 11 and 14, and ephebophilia, sexual preference for late-stage adolescents, typically ages 15 and 16. In many countries, an individual who is convicted in a court of law of child sexual abuse, see child abuse, which involves sexual abuse of a prepubescent or postpubescent individual up to age 18, is known as a sex offender. Some of those individuals are also later clinically diagnosed with pedophilia. Some pedophiles are sexually attracted only to children, whereas others are attracted to both children and adults. Pedophiles may be attracted to children of only one sex or to children of either sex. Sexual encounters between individuals with pedophilic disorder and children are frequently traumatic for the latter, especially if force or violence, or the threat of force or violence, is involved. Most pedophiles are men. The condition is rare in women. The underlying causes of pedophilic disorder are unclear. Although pedophilic behavior has long been associated with sexual abuse or neglect experienced during childhood, recent studies have implicated certain alterations of brain structure and function that may be the result of neurodevelopmental problems occurring in utero or in early childhood. An individual with pedophilic disorder who acts on his or her urges generally commits a serious sexual offense. Patients who are diagnosed with the disorder are expected to participate in treatment programs. To the extent that they are successful, however, such programs, involving both cognitive and behavioral therapies, see cognitive behavior therapy, have served mainly to strengthen the affected individual's ability to control his or her pedophilic urges rather than to eliminate the urges altogether. In some cases, medications such as sapropterin that suppress the activity of testosterone in men can be effective in reducing aggressive behavior and sex drive.
There you have it. The definition of pedophilia. So y'all need to quit calling people pedophiles. Y'all really need to stop it, unless they've exhibited such behavior. So I ask you to please consider what I am saying. I am not angry at you. I never have been. And I can't be. I don't know you. I see a male in crisis. And perhaps I'm wrong about that too. But again, I'm only going by behavior, your behavior. That's what I look at. It is my hope that something good will come out of all of this. It is my hope. But who knows? This information comes from the Britannica online. And of course, you can always look up the DSM 5. You can look up the DSM 5, and it will give you plenty of information about pedophilia or the pedophilic disorder. It will give you all the information that you could ever hope for. If you want to know the truth. And you guys can quit saying that. Y'all can stop saying that. I'm going to get ready to bring this to a close. But I want to say to you, Uncle Suge, you deserve every good thing that you've worked very hard for. And I can't tell you don't feel a certain way, because I know how this stuff affected me and how it's affecting me. And hearing this is not easy. But it is time for women, mothers, the matriarchs, the only ones who can fix up our community, to set aside all of the ugliness, talk it out, write it out, move forward, and let's come together as a people and change the trajectory of our children. We say they're our future, but we're not leaving them anything but chaos. We should be taking advantage of this platform. We have the opportunity to change lives for the better, not the worse. We have people breaking down on YouTube. Some don't even want to make it for another minute. They're in so much pain. We're not equipped probably to handle that kind of pressure. But what we can is support each other and lift each other up. Or we could just walk away and leave each other totally alone. We don't have to destroy each other and totally annihilate each other. We don't have to do that. We've seen unsuccessful people. Some of us have been unsuccessful ourselves, and we bounced back. We've seen people doing plays. We've seen people playing with people's emotions just to get their monies. We've seen it all. Let's stop it. While we still have breath in our body, our health in our right mind, let's leave a legacy of honor and integrity. Kwame, I ask you, consider what I'm saying. And again, you have the information. If you need to talk to me, contact me about anything I said, you're welcome to do so. I'm going to get ready to end this. Uncle Suge, this is dedicated to you, and know that you are not alone. That you guys are going to fight the way you guys fight, and I'm going to be here fighting the way I fight. And I'm going to try to encourage anybody who will listen to the sound of my voice to join the fight, to end this bullying, to end this beefing, to end this doxing, to end this tearing each other down. And let's start building. We build America. And then we want to tear each other down. Doesn't make sense. We have too much to offer. We got to stop. And Kwame, you lead the charge. You can make this all go away. Whether anybody forgive each other or not, that's a personal thing. Has nothing to do with me or anyone else. But you can certainly stop the madness. Everybody sucked off of you long enough. Those that sucked off of you. Because I didn't. And neither did Suge. He's been doing this for a while. I haven't been doing it for a while, but I've learned over these past 2 years, and I've been holding my own. And as many go away, some will come. And I believe in whosoever will, let them come. Our birthright was stolen from us. Our identity was stolen from us. Our culture, our heritage, everything that makes us who we are. But it's in us if we'll just go inside of ourselves and bring it out. It's in us. I want to end with this. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. Everybody's searching for a hero. People need someone to look up to. I never found anyone to fulfill my needs. A lonely place to be. So I learned to depend on me. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I live as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity. Because the greatest love of all is happening to me. I found the greatest love of all inside of me. The greatest love of all is easy to achieve. Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. In a mother's love, you will find everything. Everything's alright. To a mother's love, you are bound. You can rest on sacred ground. You are free to dream because she sees what you can be. All right. I'm going to bid you guys a goodbye. Ears, I want to say to you, I don't know you, but I believe that you are a good person at heart. And the only thing I would suggest to you is to just take full responsibility for whatever and let it go. I think that you don't like some of the things you did in your past, and you're doing everything you can to make it right. And you have to leave it with that. Don't let anybody shame you or make you feel bad. We all had a past and we all didn't make the best decisions. One of the things that you said that stuck out and that I really appreciated about you were a kid thinking as a kid. And it doesn't matter what other people think. You did the best you could with what you had to deal with. And I don't know you, but I'm proud of you. And just keep moving forward. Keep doing what you're doing. You know, this YouTube thing is not an overnight sensation unless something happens for an overnight sensation. But it's just work. And it's what you put into it, is what you're going to get out of it. So continue to do what you're doing. And on that note, I'm leaving the tiger's den. Goodbye.